Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Elisha and I'm gonna take you through a warming little flow. It should feel juicy and primal and delicious, and yeah, that's it. So we're gonna start actually standing. So at the top of your mat, you can find your feet and take them as wide as your hips or as wide as the mat. Whatever feels sort of stable and grounded here. We want the feet to be parallel forward and more weight in the front of the foot, a lighter heel. And it's almost like your toes can like snuggle the ground a little bit. It's like this little gentle squish into the mat. Bend into your knees, and as the knees move forward, allow the hips to gently slide back just a little bit. And then we'll sweep the arms wide, big rise all the way up to the sky, stretch up high. And then connect your hands above your head and slide them down through your heart. Take a pause here, breathe. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. Release your arms, sweep the arms wide all the way up to the sky, stretch up high, stretching into the belly, into the sides. Connect your hands and slide them down through your heart. Take a pause and breathe. Deep inhale and full exhale. And sweep your arms low, wide, all the way up to the sky. Stretch up, big reach for the sky. And then connect your hands, slide them down through your heart center. Take a pause, breathe here, connect in. Deep inhale and full exhale. We'll add to this. Sweep your arms low, wide, all the way up to the sky. Stretch up high, big reach, even letting the belly lengthen as you open up. And then connect your hands. Now bring your hands to the crown of your head. Bend into the knees, knees forward, hips slide back and wide. Rise up into the pressure of your hands, lift and lengthen into the belly, open up. Slide your hands down through your heart. Sweep wide all the way out to the side, stretch up high. Hands connect above your head and graze down through your heart center as you begin to fold, hinging at the hips. Root your hips back. Keep a bend into the knees. Let the belly stay long and open. When you get halfway, release your hands to your shin or to your knees. Feel the length of the torso, the crown of the head reaching forward as the hips root back and wide. Connect your paws, press them down and out to the side so we can fire into the glutes. You should feel a little toning in the back line of the leg with the femurs rooting back into the hip socket, the belly staying so long and the heart full, all sides pressing wide. One more breath here. And then fold forward, rounding towards your bent knees. Let yourself hang heavy here. Nice bends into the knees, paws connected, pressing down and out to the side. Sweep your arms wide, lift your heart with an open belly all the way back up to the sky. Stretch up high. Connect your hands above your head and slide them down through your heart. Take a breath. And do that one more time. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. Sweep your arms wide all the way up to the sky. Stretch up high. Connect your hands and then bring them to the crown of your head. Bend the knees forward, slide the hips wide, and rise up. Little belly opener. Press upwards into the resistance of your hands. You can take another pulse here. Knees forward, hips back, rise, lift, lengthen the belly, open up. And then release your hands down through heart. And take a pause, breathe. And exhale. Sweep wide all the way out to the sides. Lift way up high. Stretching into the belly, stretching into the sides. Connect your hands, and as you glide your hands down, begin to hinge at the hips. Root your hips back, bends in the knees. Pause, pressing down and out to the side. Want to hold that length through the belly, the whole torso reaching forward. As the hips root back and wide. Pause, keep pressing down and out to the side. You can release your hands to your shin or above the knee. Finding some toning through the back line of the leg, a gentle hover in the heel. The pause pressing down and out to the side. The hips rooting back and wide. The belly stays long and the ribs, all sides of the rib cage are pressing wide, expanding on all sides. Breathe. One more breath. And then fold it forward. You can let your arms dangle. You can connect your hands to opposite elbows. You can wrap your hands around whatever sort of feels good. You want to maintain at least a gentle bend into the knee. And yeah, just make this as soft. You can rock. You can breathe. And take one more moment here. Sweep your arms wide like you're swan diving upwards all the way back up to the sky. Stretch up high and then release your hands down through your heart. Take a breath here and exhale. Connect your heels, or don't connect them, but like narrow them so it's like little. And then you can just bring your hands forward of your belly button, elbows pressing forward and wide. Keep your chin lifted, your heart full, and we're going to begin to move downwards into a low squat. So keeping the toes connected, the knees move wide as the hips slide back. Belly stays so long, heart stays so full, coming down nice and slow. Making it all the way down here. And then release your fingertips forward. Take a little tick-tock, gentle warming into the groins, hips back, belly long, chin lifted, throat open. Whoa. Okay, find some stillness just in this nice low deep squat. We want a hovered heel so that we can keep the butt moving back and the spine aligned, the lower lumbar moving in. Left fingertips can meet the mat and just kind of snuggle the elbow or the forearm snuggled into the knee. And we're going to sweep the right arm long and over towards the left. So finding nice stretch along the left side, the right side of the body. The arm presses forward of the shoulder, chin is lifted, throat is open. And breathe into that length. You want to think about rising gently into the right ribs. Soft shoulders, gentle resistance of the thigh or the knee pressing into the forearm or tricep or elbow or wherever it's meeting here, into this arm. And then drop your arm ahead of your heart, roll your chin through your chest and take it to the other side. Right fingertips land to the mat. Sweep your left arm wide over towards the right side. So we find this big, beautiful stretch into the left line. You can think about gently rising into your left ribs, almost a subtle pulse. The chin is lifted, soften the shoulders. And the crown of the head almost reaches over towards the right side. And one more moment here, big stretch. And then drop your arm through center, curl your chin into your chest. Find that fullness as you broaden into the back here, breathe. And then release your hands forward. Press down the mat, lift up your butt so that you can step back into hands and feet. The feet can be as wide as your hips or as wide as the mat, whatever feels right. You're going to take a nice deep bend into the knees to send the belly towards the thighs. And then from this space, paws connected, nice and little grippy, hugging the mat paws. We're going to send the butt way up high. So we begin to extend through the back line of the leg. The belly stays long. And now just take your heart forward a little bit. Push the mat away. Really find that full broadening through the back of the rib cage. And begin to pulse through this alignment so the hips stay high and wide and the heart reaches forward, press down the mat, hold the back. Hips slide back wide and the heart reaches forward. Hips back, pause, press down and out to the side. As the heart reaches forward, you can drag the paws back and wide, keep the butt lifting wide. It's almost like the hips are resisting back as the heart begins to creep forward. Take one more here, just like that. Externally rotate your right hand just a tiny little bit. Toes and knees twist to the left. Bend your knees, slide the hips back and wide, and then rise like you're peeling open into the left side. Find a couple of pulses here. Bending and extending through the legs. We bend, root the hips back, and then peel it open into the left side. And think about rising into the left ribs, finding a lightness in the left fingertips. Chin is lifted, the crown reaches forward. There's a rainbow shape that we begin to create. Hips root back, belly softens as we rise into the space along the left ribs. Take a big stretch, reach your left arm forward and long lengthen. One more pulse just like this, press, press, reach. And then come back through center, hands and feet. Connect your paws, connect into your roots. Bend the knees, slide the hips back wide and high, and just begin to shift your hips side to side. Find a softness here. Almost this weaving and winding into the belly. A little spring kind of action that feels juicy and moving and primal. Okay, find stillness. Connect into the roots. Feet are hip distance. Paws connected nice and strong. Deep bends into the knees. The hips rooting high and wide. Press the mat. You want to feel the shoulder blades expand and broaden on the back. Externally rotate the left hand just a little bit. Toes and knees twist to the right. Bend your knees, slide the hips back and wide, and then rise, lift, lengthen into the right side. So we bend, root back, soft belly, rise into the ribs. Find a pulse here, bending and extending through the legs. Hips root back, belly soft and long as we rise like a rainbow into the right side. Thinking about picking up the space underneath the right armpit. And there's this organic cascading of the left ear to left shoulder, hips root wide. Take a big stretch, reach your right arm long. Last pulse, big stretch, press, reach to open. And come back through center. A little pedal of your heels, extending each leg individually. Okay, hold the fullness of your heart, lower the knees down to the mat. Untuck the toes, press the top of the foot down to the mat and gently drag it back. Begin to glide your ribs side to side, finding just a soft opening. You can almost think about this quality of teasing open into the side body. This little peel or this little tease creeping it open. Finding a fluidity and a fullness through the ribs that helps us glide as we slide the hips wide into each side. Let's add to this. So we slide wide and then drop the chin through the chest, rounding through the upper back, all the way over to the other side. And just let it flow, slide wide to the other side, curl your chin to chest, rounding through the upper back. One more on each side. Move at your own pace, finding that fullness as you creep through the back. And then find some stillness. Sit your hips back so that you come up onto your knees. The top of the foot continues to press down and gently drags back. Slide your hips wide just a little bit. And so when the hips are back, we've got pockets in the groins here, little hollows. The glutes have an opportunity to be in a position to engage. Reach your arms forward. We're going to hold that full, broad, expansive quality through the heart. Sweep your hands to catch both sides of the skull. Elbows hug forward. Head presses into the hand. Let your neck get long and open. Slide your hips back and wide. Rise, lift, and lengthen through the center. Heart lifts to the sky. Hips root wide. Big stretch. Rise it up. Open the belly. Hips back. Lift it up, lengthen, open. Hips slide wide. Big stretch, reach up high. This time, sit back, curl in. Chin to chest, rounding through the upper back. Just begin to slide your ribs side to side. So you almost want to feel like you're finding this beautiful connection into the back of the heart. The shoulder blades expand, and we begin to lift and rise the low ribs just off of the lower lumbar. Finding this buoyancy, this gentle stretching into the back heart. Move back through center, root the hips back and wide. Let the belly begin to soften forward as you beam your heart back up to the sky. Stretch it up, lengthen, take 2 more pulses through the middle, hips back. Reach a stretch, open up. Last one, hips tack wide. Heart reaches up, lengthen the belly, open up. Hey, release. Your hands back down to the mat. All fours. We want the hands to land ahead of the shoulders, so the wrists are ahead of the shoulders. And the hips can root back so that there's this lifting of the butt up and this lengthening of the belly. Press the mat away. Feel the fullness in the back of your heart. And we'll begin to, let's take a couple of pulses forward and back, just kind of maintaining that alignment. So as we pulse forward, we can press the mat away, almost like searching to find a hollowing in the armpit, this lifting quality, this expansion through the back. Okay, slide your hips wide, take your right hand to the top of your left hand. So it's like a little pancake hand. I'm going to root the hips back and begin to gently creep or pulse length, a little gentle expansion into the right side ribs. And so you almost want to feel like this, again, this teasing quality that the hips slide back and wide, and we hold the roots, we hold the hips back as we begin to press wide and forward the right ribs. And keep pressing the mat away. Teasing open the right side body. Take 1 more pulse here. And then release the hand back through center. Find some undulations of your spine. Slide the hips wide, curl forward. Chin to chest, rounding through the back. Find your fullness in the back of the heart. And then slide the hips wide. Feel the length and tone of the belly. Hips root back into your curl forward. Wrap the shoulders, chin to chest, press down the mat. Slide the hips back and wide, feel the length and tone. And then curl it forward. And finding this beautiful articulation to each vertebrae, hips slide wide, knees gently press down and out to the side, and then curl it forward. Shoulder blades wrap down as you broaden the space. Okay, find a neutral spine. The hips rooting back, the thoracic area nice and full, broad and expansive. Root the hips back a little bit, so a little slide glide back. Left hand pancakes on top of the right. Hips root back and wide and begin to creep open the left sides. It's like this little teasing opening into the left line of the body. Pressing down the mat, holding that fullness through the heart, through the whole rib cage. This lifted buoyancy as you begin to gently open into the left line of the body. The hips root wide, and with that we can pulse the ribs forward and long. One more. Well, come back through center. A couple of undulations of the spine, just finding your rebalance. Letting it flow like a wave. And finding that connection, moving slow, even with the eyes shut as you move through these little connections to the body. Okay, slide your hips back, lift all the way up and connect your wrists, ahead of your heart. So a little cross of the wrists, top of the foot pressing down, gently dragging back, root the hips wide and begin to pulse wide the ribs side to side. So kind of just teasing open some more the side ribs. You can lift up high, lengthening into the sides. You can take some curls forward. Find an exploration, getting curious, just moving where your body wants to go. And breathing into the space that feels a little tight or crunchy. Soften the shoulders. And then release. Take your hands back to the mat. Press the ground away nice and strong. Fill the back. And we'll tuck the toes, lift the knees, rise all the way up into hands and feet. You can walk your feet as wide as your hips or as wide as the mat. Nice, bend into the knees, belly towards the thighs. Extend through the legs, send your butt way up high. Press the mat, broaden into the back. Find some pulses here, hips slide wide and high, and the heart reaches forward. You can shift your hips side to side, a little weaving and winding into the belly. You can do a combination of all of it. Find some stillness. Press the ground nice and strong. The wrists are ahead of the shoulders and the hips are high and wide. Externally rotate the right hand toes and knees, twist to the left side. Bend the knees, slide the hips back, rise, lift and lengthen into the left line. Knees bend, hips slide wide, big stretch and rise. Take a stretch, reach the left arm forward and long. And then connect a bind, left hand to right forearm. With this bind, we're gonna think about rooting the hips back and beginning to spiral the ribs. Right ribs gently start to twist upwards as we open into the depth of this stretch on the left. One more pulse here. option to stay, option to play with back cat, left foot slides behind. As we slide this foot behind, you can angle your right toes to the top left corner of the mat, root the hips back towards the right side and begin to work into your spiral twist bend, root back wide into your twist. Hips slide down, back and wide, and then lift it up. One more. Okay, come back through center. Keep the left leg lifted. Feel the heart, eyes forward. I'm going to step this left foot to the left side of the mat. Lower the right knee down. Untuck your right toes. Press the top of the foot down and gently drag back. And here, if you need a block, you can have a block. And if you don't have a block but you need more space, you can take the hands just to the tops of the thighs, a more lifted torso. And if you have the space and you can keep the lower lumbar in its natural curve, you can bring your fingertips to the mat. Want to think about keeping the connection to the left big toe, tack down, and gently dragging back. And then you can just sort of explore here some movement. So maybe leaning way forward, or maybe taking it back just a little bit. Okay, whether you have a block or however you are, we're going to come back with the hands to the mat. We're going to tuck the back right toes to lift up. Big deep bend into the knees. Take a couple of glides here. Again, you can reintroduce your block if you need. And just getting nice and juicy. So go as low as you can. Keep your hips rooting back and wide. If you need more support, hands to the tops of the thighs. And just sort of, again, finding some organic movement here. Okay, connect your hands to the mat. Deep bends into the knees. We're going to shift the weight forward into the left foot. Right leg lifts out to the side. Keep your left femur, root it back wide and high. Gentle bend into the knee. Find a couple of pedals here, pressing down the mat. If you need some support, a block, you're welcome to have that. Little sticky pedals. Can you connect into the left bum? One more pedal. We'll get off this left leg now. Press the ground away super strong. Keep your eyes looking just ahead of your hands. We're going to hop side to side. So these can be low. Pressing down. A little shift of your hips side to side. And these can get a little higher. Hips sliding like little rainbow style side to side. Pressing the ground super strong. Keep the knees at a 90 degree. When that feels complete for you, land down 2 feet wide. Deep bends into the knees. You can connect into your block here. Hips root back, little pulses. Okay. Take your hands to the tops of your thighs. Bend the knees forward and slide the hips wide. Take a couple of little shoulder dips. Wow. Hover the heels just a tiny little bit. Shift the paws, both feet to face the left. Deep bend into the knees. Hips slide back and wide. Connect your left forearm to the top of your left thigh and take a big stretch. Reach your right arm forward of the shoulder and long towards the left. You want to find this, again, this gentle teasing open of the right side body. the right groin roots back. You can use your right paw, dig down, drag back as you stretch long. Connect a single crown, right fist to the crown of the head, elbow hugs narrow. Now press your head long into the resistance of your hand, hips root wide. Belly stays soft as you press to reach long. One more. Cool. Release your arms wide. Find the fullness in your heart, the lightness in your shoulders. And take a little spring into cross ankle. Right ankle connects to the top of the left thigh. Bring your fists forward of your heart and then connect them to the crown of the head. The elbows hug narrow, lift your chin and rise upwards into the pressure of your hands. Find a couple of pulses here. Slide the hips back wide, hold the length through the torso, and then rise up into the pressure of your hands. Lengthen the belly. Hips slide wide. And then rise it up, lengthen the belly. And 2 more, hips slide back and wide. And then lift it up. And last one. Rise up, lengthen, lengthen. Release your arms, stretch up high. And then arms press forward and wide. Step your right foot back wide to the side. Take a little sway. Wash your arms, wash your ribs. Cool. Hands to the tops of the thighs. Hips slide wide. And find a couple of little pulses side to side. Option 1 stays here. Option 2 comes into cheetah lunge, sliding nice and low into a deep squat on one leg, extension on the other leg. Keeping a tension and tone in the back line of the extended leg by digging the heel down and dragging back, and keeping a micro bend in the knee. As you move through center, you can think about lifting the hips up to transition to the other side. Yeah. Okay. Come back through center when it's even. Lift your heart up high, hands to the tops of the thighs. Hover the heels just a little bit. Shift both feet to face the right side. Deep bends into the knees, hips root back and wide. Connect your right forearm to the top of your right thigh, and then big stretch. Reach the left arm long towards the right. Hips root wide, stretch, reach to open. Feel the length and tone opening into the belly. Connect your single crown. Left fist to the crown of the head. Press, reach your crown into the resistance of your hand. Left paw digs and drags, roots the hips back. So this energy like you're connecting into strong, strong roots as you press, lengthen the belly. One more pulse. Release your arms wide, lift your heart, soften your shoulders. Take a breath. A little pulse into cross ankle. Left ankle connects to the top of the thigh. Bring your fists together and then to the crown of the head. Lift your chin and rise upwards into the pressure of your hand. We'll find a little root and rise pulse. Slide your hips back and wide. And then rise up into the pressure of your hands. Lengthen. Hips slide back and wide. Torso stays long. Chin stays lifted as you press, reach up into your hands. 2 more, hips back. Lift it up. And last one. Rising up, big stretch, release your arms, reach up. And then arms forward of the shoulders. Step your left foot wide, take a little glide of your ribs side to side. Hands down to the mat. You can take a couple of hops if you like. Press the ground away, eyes forward. Hop, knees at a 90 degree. You want to let your belly open, so sending the hips back. Keep the eyes forward and press down the mat. Hey, land back. Hands and feet. Little pedal of the heels. And a couple pulses forward and back. Take the knees wide, connect your toes, and sit back, child's pose. Let your heart melt down to the mat. Your forehead can connect to the mat. If it doesn't feel good to do that, you can take your elbows wide and give yourself a little double fist stack. Connect your forehead to your fists. Take one more breath here. Release your arms back forward if they are not already. Connect into your hands and roll your spine forward. Slide the hips wide, fix the knees underneath of the hips. You can take a couple of pulses here, little glides of your ribs side to side. And press the mat away nice and strong. Slide your hips back and wide. Tuck your toes, lift up hands and feet. Okay. Strong roots here. Pardon me. Hips high and wide. We're going to externally rotate the left hand just a little. Toes and knees twist to the right. Hips slide back and wide, big rise as you lengthen into the right side. Couple pulses here. And take a big stretch, reach. Connect into a bind, right hand to left forearm. Keep the hips rooting back and wide and begin to work into a gentle twist. Bend, root back into your twist. Left ribs begin to spiral upwards as we extend the space along the right side body. Okay, option to stay here. Option to play back cat. Right foot slides behind. As we slide it behind, the left toes angle to pivot to the top right corner of the mat. Deep bend into the knees, root the hips wide into your spiral, open into the side. Bend, root back into your twist, hold the bind. Just working, little teasing open into this side. Feel this stretch. Hold the hollows in the groins and the length in the belly as you peel open. One more. Release your bind. Hand back to the right side. Right leg stays lifted. Find fullness in your heart. Eyes look forward, step your right foot to the right side of the mat and lower your left knee down. Untuck your left toes, press the top of the foot down, gently drag back. And begin to just sort of find some movement here. You can have a block. If no blocks are around and you need more space, you can come up high. So the reason we would want more space is if we can't keep the lower lumbar and the spine in its natural alignment. So we want the lower lumbar to be dipping in just a little bit. And then you can just sort of explore. Sometimes it's nice just sort of feel where you can go. And just moving with sensitivity and curiosity. Okay. One more moment here. And plant your hands to the mat. Tuck your left toes and pick your hips up. So moving into sort of a tribal lunge here, deep squatty guy. And we're working into extension in the front leg. So finding just gentle pulses if you need a block. Blocks are here if it's still too low. Hands to the tops of the thighs or to the shin. And just glide your hips forward and back. Notice your toes connected, pressing down and wide. Okay. Wherever you are, we're gonna bring the hands to the mat. A couple of playtime here. And you could also potentially need your block again, so keep it around. The right toe, with the right paw, we're gonna keep connected. Nice deep bend, lift the left leg into the sky, hug the left knee in towards the belly, root your right femur back and wide. Belly stays long, press down the ground nice and strong, eyes look forward. Couple of little pedals here. If it feels better to have more height, maybe your hamstring is not super open, keep a bend into your standing leg, root your right femur back into the hip socket, each pedal you take. It's not a very stable block. Okay. Last little pedal, trying to connect into that left bum, the floating high bum. Okay, and then press down the mat, a couple of hops side to side. Feel nice to get off that right leg. Land light, push the ground. Move with your hips like you're painting a rainbow, shift the hips side to side. Okay, when that feels complete for you, land down, 2 feet to the mat. Root your hips back. Feel the tone through the back line of the leg. Arms sweep wide, rise all the way up, heart to sky. Reach up high. And then bring your hands down through heart center. Take a pause. Okay. Little bends into the knees, weight in the front of the foot, sweep low, wide, all the way up to the sky. Stretch up high, reach like you're plucking stars out of the sky. Gentle bends into the knees, paws connected, hips rooting back, stretching for stars. A little creep. Do. Climbing higher and higher and higher. And then connect your hands. We're gonna fold forward, root your hips back, belly stays long, crown reaches forward, bends into the knees, shift weight forward into the front of the foot, release your hands, step back, hands and feet. Couple pulses here. Shift your hips side to side. Okay. Externally rotate your right hand toes and knees twist left. Couple of bends here. Hips root wide. Rise, lift, lengthen into the left side. You can imagine yourself like washing it out. And back through center. Externally rotate the left hand toes and knees twist to the right. A couple of bends and extends here. Again, a little rinse out. Rise into the ribs, chin lifted, belly soft. Okay, come back through center. Lower the knees down. Hold that heart full as you lower. Take your hands wide. Wider than your mat. Little sticky mat, hopefully you are like floor you got, or you can keep like the side of your thumb on the mat. And we're gonna roll forward onto the top of the thigh so that we're not on the cap of the knee, but it's more like the beginning of the thigh. And then you wanna really find a hamstring hug, the heel towards the bum, and it's like you can connect into the butt lifting up. So none of this, all of this, butt up, wide, back, behind. And then you're going to inflate your rib cage, all sides of the ribs press wide. And we're gonna come down halfway, elbows push wide, hold the fullness and inflation in the heart, and then lift back up. Hamstring hug, heels towards the bum. Keep your hips rooting back, halfway down, and lift back up. You wanna hold the fullness of the heart as you come down halfway, elbows push wide, and lift up. Keep the hollows in the groins, the belly long, and your hamstring hug, heels towards the bum, alive. 2 more. Cool. Next time you come down halfway, and glide your ribs side to side. And then replace your hands to the mat. Tuck your toes, lift all the way back up into hands and feet. Okay, externally rotate your right hand, twist your knees to the left, and bend your knees deeply to lower your right hip down to the mat. Seated side twist, press the right hand away as you drag your left fingertips back. Like this little kind of push-pull. Right hand pushing away as the left fingertips back as you glide back, and then slide forward. One more. Cool. Use your left hand to support as you lower your right forearm down. Let your left knee fall forward of the right and spin 2 forearms forward. Forearms press fullness into the back. And the hips sort of root back, and the belly is long and the heart is full. Hands plant. Can retuck your left toes. Spin yourself all the way back up into hands and feet. Couple of pulses here. Shift your hips. A little winding, weaving. Okay, externally rotate the left hand. Deep bend into the knees to lower your left hip down to the ground. Right fingertips land to the right side of the mat. And you're just gonna work into some little kind of squirming around here a little bit. But the left hand pushes away as the right fingertips energetically drag back. So you get this beautiful stretch into the back of the heart, into the low ribs, low side. Let your right hand support you while you lower your left forearm down to the mat. Right knee lands just ahead of the left. 2 forearms forward. Forearms can press down into the mat to feel this fullness in the back of the heart. The elbows can gently drag back towards the hips. Chin is lifted and the throat is open. Cool. Plant your hands. Tuck your back toes and lift all the way back up. Wide knees. connect the toes, slide back into child's pose. Land here. If it doesn't feel good to have the arms extended, you can wide elbows with a double fist stack. And just chill, 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 chill. And stay here as long as you need. Perhaps ending in a seated meditation. And if you need to land on your back for any extra stretches, please move your way there. But for now, this is all she wrote. Peace. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.